another team is weird. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Before we get to the debacle that is the Los Angeles Rams, the Steelers are 5-4, Paul, and I don't think anyone thinks their offense is good. So, like,
it's
how
their team
they
is a
winning
defensive
games?
team. It comes down to it. They're a defensive team. I talked about it a bit in the preview when we were previewing this game. I picked Pittsburgh to win this game because of their defense, because of how good they've been. At every level, they've been impressive, especially Minkah Fitzpatrick joining that team as the cherry on top. The pick machine, he may as well be like look it up. He probably has more touchdowns in the Cincinnati offense since he's been traded to Pittsburgh. So he's been unbelievable. And he's looking like Troy Polamalu back there again. And that Steelers defense is finally coming together as a top unit in the NFL. And they're going to be carrying this offense throughout the season because Ben Roethlisberger had his baseball injury, that Tommy John surgery they had to get. It makes me raise the question in my head, if he wasn't injured, could this team be a Super Bowl team possibly? I think so, just because of their defense. They're that elite, in my opinion, and they really showed it against a decent Rams offense on Sunday.
Because I think it's pretty easy to conceive that if this team had been, they'd be at least 2 games better, which would put them at 7-2. Like, this is they're like that Baltimore game they lost. They would have won that game with Ben.
Yeah,
Mason was horrible, or Devlin was. That was Devlin.
Devlin
that was
Hodges. Ducky Hodge.
So first, is there a better draft pick than Devin Bush to Pittsburgh? I mean, the guy is an absolute perfect fit. He completely has changed the defensive culture there. And but the story,
he's that Ryan Shazier. I think the big part of that is he's the Ryan Shazier missing link that they were missing from last year. He came in and fit that role beautifully.
It's but the story of this game kind of leads to the part of the defense that was the most dominant in this game, and that was the defensive line for the Steelers. The reason that's the story of the game is because the Los Angeles Rams have a huge issue, and they literally can't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because they've overpaid a series of players, and the result is when you overpay players, you have to give up at certain positions. And for whatever reason, unfortunately, they chose the offensive line, and their offensive line sucks. Like, it's so it's so bad. Like,
yep.
I feel bad for Jared back there, and then you throw in Todd, who, I mean, how do you even ask the guy to run the ball? Like, he can't. There's just no push at all. And what you're left with is, man, this team, like, it's rough watching them try and move the ball on offense against an actual good team. But they're consistent over. This team is in trouble, man. Like, I don't want to dive too much into the rabbit hole of the Rams because I feel like that's more of an off-season topic, but the overpaying of Brandon Cooks, the overpaying of Todd Gurley, frankly, the overpaying of Aaron Donald, if we're going to be honest on how much a defensive player is actually worth in the NFL, and the overpaying of Goff has left them with just a complete hole in the offense, and they can't fix it. Because they don't even have draft picks because they traded that for a corner. Like, congratulations, you fixed your corner. I don't think their secondary was the reason that they weren't winning games early in the year. Their reason they were losing to teams like Seattle was because they can't block anybody. And, like, how are the Rams going to beat the Niners?
I don't think they do.
They can't block it. Like, they're going to get killed, man. They can't block anybody. It's a disaster. Like,
yeah, I'm with I'm with you. Every word you're saying right now. They're not the same team they were last year just because of that O line. Last year, that O line was one of the top units in the league. This year, they're not. Jared Goff doesn't have the time, and he's not looking as good as he did last year. It's been a tough year for him, and kind of questionable decision making on who to pay, like you said, who to bring in. Kind of questionable. Jalen Ramsey last year probably would have won them the Super Bowl, or gave them a much better shot in the Super Bowl because of how bad their corners were last year. But I mean, it's a year late, and
It's
they kind of missed their
it's crazy
opportunity. They
because
missed their window.
it's crazy because if you had asked someone this time last year, pick one team you can invest in, like X amount of dollars to be successful and win a couple Super Bowls in the next 5 years, what team would you pick? I think most people would have picked the Rams. And it's crazy in 1 year they've messed it up. Like it's unreal how that's just the textbook NFL. Like your window is so small in this league unless you're the Patriots, and they messed it up, man. Like it's crazy.
And how about the fact that I think the two teams that you would have bought stock into last year are the Chiefs and the Rams. The Rams have messed it up, and the Chiefs are on the fringe of messing it up. So, like you said, the NFL is absolutely crazy. Things change, and overnight. So
they had the golden ticket, and they're in serious danger of drowning in the chocolate right now. Like it's not, man. It's rough. Like that
the Augustus loop of the NFL.